What do I like to rag on the most? There we go, hybristophiliacs. You got bingo, you hit the nail on the head.
Great. What do I win? Nothing!
I can't believe what I'm hearing. Weirdo! Let him fight. What happens next is unbelievable. Back in the 70s and the 80s, they sensationalized and glamorized serial killers, mass murderers, anything like that. I mean, the way that the interviewers spoke to these people was like they actually contributed something to society. It was mind-blowing. But another interesting wave happened back in the 90s where a few talk shows, but particularly this one that we're gonna watch, they were bringing on hybristophiliacs to interview them. This one in particular is serial killer fans versus victims' families. Now, this is 40 minutes on. I don't think we'll be watching the whole thing, but I've seen one of these girls before. The hybristophiliacs literally get into a fight. I couldn't believe it. And like, I was watching it and I was like, is this for TV or are these girls really that fucking weird? And like, honestly, I think it's the latter, but let's investigate.
16-year-old Eva is obsessed with
God, I can just look at her and she's so annoying. This chick is annoying the fuck out of me right now.
Is obsessed with Richard Ramirez. She says she writes him every day and he writes back. And finally, Christine says she has an even closer relationship with Richard Ramirez. In fact, they're engaged and plan to be married later this year.
Do you think God stays in heaven because he too lives in fear of what he's created?
I can't, like, is it just me or do the hybristophiliacs look fucking annoying? Like, okay, come on, lady. You are not that badass. Come on, let's wipe it off your face. Get out of here, bro.
We're going to start with you. How did the obsession with Jeffrey Dahmer begin? We know you like all serial killers, but how'd you pick this one?
He was the first serial killer really that happened in my life that I admired. I'd read
what the fuck?
A lot about the Zodiac, which happened in the 60s. I wasn't born then.
Killing.
Yeah. And then John Wayne Gacy in the 70s, and I was like 10. I didn't know anything about serial killers. And when I was about 12 or 13, I started reading all these books, getting all this information. I was completely fascinated by it. Any book that I could get my hands on, I'd read. My father saw a book in a grocery store and he said, hey, Don, you might want to go get it, you know, Alone with the Devil. And so then when the Jeff Dahmer thing happened, I paid very close attention, watched all the TV, taped CNN constantly.
What did you think when you saw him on television? You were drawn to him, why?
Well, he's a very good-looking serial killer, and...
Okay, she's gone. She's gone. She is on Pluto. She's on Mars. She's traversing between Pluto and Mars, and very, very, very fast. We can't see her. She's gone.
How did he appear to you?
It's very hard to describe. He looked he could do serious damage. That's what he looked like.
What?
He had a look in his eye, the way he walked, very passionate. And very, I don't know, a lot of the people I deal with on a day-to-day basis, men in particular, seem so blasé.
And he appeared passionate?
He had very strong passion.
Did he appear lonely?
Yeah.
Like he needed a friend?
Yeah, well, that's the reason he killed.
Girl, I can't believe what I'm hearing. This has to be some of the worst hybristophiliac talk I think I've ever heard. I've seen a clip of the other two before. I hadn't even seen this one. I think it's about to get worse.
He didn't want these people to leave. They'd come to his house, and then as soon as they'd want to leave, he would kill them so they couldn't leave.
The High Princess of
You began
Delulu
writing to him
Planet.
2 or 3
She's
times a week,
here.
and you wrote him poetry and sent him excerpts from books and poetry. Have you ever received a response?
She wrote him poetry. I guarantee you right now, that's one of the worst fucking poems you'll ever read in your entire life.
Didn't receive a response.
Why do you think that he hasn't responded?
Well, in my own sick little mind, I thought he was protecting me from him.
He was protecting you from him.
Yeah, but it could be that he thought I was an idiot.
Do you think he should be in jail?
Oh, definitely. He thinks he should be in jail, too. He can't stop what he's doing. He's mentally ill,
right.
And he can't stop killing. I don't think his killings were right.
What? Then why are you
I
here?
think that he should be helped.
He needs me. He needs my love. That's what she's thinking. Just come on, just say it. Quit playing around. Also, some girls that write letters to men in prison, some people that just love their prisoners. I'm gonna be honest, I don't think that they realize this sometimes until they get out. Sometimes they get jealous really easily and they feel like in jail, their dude is like safe. They can brag about their like boyfriend that's in prison or their murderous boyfriend or something, and he's in jail and he can't cheat. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've seen this as a joke on prison TikTok, like prison lover TikTok or whatever, but like, y'all mean it. I know y'all mean it.
I don't think he's being helped. He needs to be, society needs to be protected from him. And jail does that, but his is just one case out of so many cases I've read about. Serial killers are all over. They need to study them and find out what exactly is wrong with them. With cancer, they study people, find out what's wrong so they can help them.
Do you think he could be
They already
helped
did
and
that.
then released?
I don't think in my lifetime. I don't think they'll figure out how to do it, but I don't think they're even working on it right now.
Do you think they should work on him?
Oh, without a doubt, because it's innocent people who are being killed.
Right. Now, Randall, you say you would like to be Charles Manson. Why? I notice you have a beard like, a little scraggly kind of beard like that.
It's not exactly an obsession with Charles Manson, more of an admiration. Charismatic, yeah.
Dude, I hate how this guy basically gets down on all fours when he starts talking about Charles Manson. He gets all serious. Well, it's not really so much of an obsession as it is an admiration about, like, what? What was that? Why? I need my Boze blanket back. Don't forget, you can get yours at bozevideosubmissions.net. I'm serious. Wait a minute. Did you guys know that you can get a comfortable, soft, and not to mention beautifully designed Boze blanket at bozevideosubmissions.net? And what does it say? Shh, I'm watching true crime. Just for when your family, friends, or your partner don't understand that they need to be quiet so you can get all of the case details in a snuggly, comfortable location. Now, lots of Boze citizens have been getting their blankets in the past couple of weeks, and the reviews are insane. They are comfortable, they're cozy, they're happy, and above all, they are in a nice, quiet environment where they can watch true crime. We also have designs as well that say true crime is my emotional regulation because it is the safety net that you need. Now, I want to remind you guys, supplies are going they're actually going faster than we thought. I thought I was going to have enough through Christmas. I don't. We have to buy more, but we do still have some left, I think, at the time this video is going up.
Can you explain it to us?
Pardon?
Can you explain that to us?
He's so serious.
He's a charismatic individual. He had control over a harem of 20 women, people to do things for him. How can you not take an interest in that? Any man in this audience, I think, would be interested in that.
Okay. But not every man in the... I don't know that every man in the audience... Would you take an interest in that?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
So maybe we do need an explanation why you would like to be him.
The control factor, he's a genius.
Do you feel like This
This is a prime example of no role models. Like, this man had no role models at all, and then he was like, I'll take that one.
He went off into the desert, he lived on his own thing, he didn't stay away from the system, created his own system. People still had to mess with him. I'd like to do something like that.
To be able to do something like that. Does do the murderers upset you at all, or?
The murders? Nah.
Nothing. You're not upset by that.
I don't advocate it, but not something I would do. But
If somebody gets in the way or there's a party or something. Okay.
He just wants the harem.
Eva, you say you've gotten 30 letters from Richard Ramirez. How did this begin?
Well, I had a lot of friends who talked about him all the time.
What did they?
Dude, why do all of these pieces of shit have such distinct characteristics? Dude, editor, can you do a voiceover of what she says, where she says, Eva, you say you've gotten 30 letters from Richard Ramirez. Yeah, he wrote me.
30 letters from Richard Ramirez? How did this begin?
Well, I had a lot of friends who talked about him all the time.
What did they say about him all the time?
Well, I know one person who had his artwork in a gallery, and Anton LaVey told me.
Anton LaVey? Anton LaVey, imagine name dropping Anton LaVey like that. Shut up, girl. This just got 10 times cornier. Oh my God, Children of the Corn. Yo, Anton LaVey is the guy that basically made up like Satanism and like wrote like the Book of Satan. So she's over here like, my friend had Richard Ramirez's art in his museum, and when I was talking to Anton LaVey last week, that was more embarrassing than it was cool. And she really fucking thought,
I know one person who had his artwork in a gallery, and Anton LaVey told me that he met him one time. He didn't really get a chance to talk to him before he went to jail.
And she just, that was so casual. Look at her.
I wanted to do a report for school. That's how it started out. And I saw him on TV. It was on the news. He went to court. And I decided to call up San Quentin and see where I could write him.
Random, you did not. Random said they think they're your name.
And I decided to call up San Quentin and see where I could write him. And it took a while to get there because I put the wrong zip code on it. But he ended up writing me back, and I was...
Now, I want to remind you guys that Eva, 16-year-old Eva, by the way, that claims she's gotten 30 letters from Richard Ramirez and she's friends with Anton LaVey, she is sitting next to another woman that claims she is engaged to Richard Ramirez. So both of these women think that they're super, super close to Richard Ramirez. So we'll let Eva keep going, but what happens next is unbelievable.
I sent him a bunch of my poetry, and he sent me some back because I was trying to teach him how to do it right. And he sent me some drawings, and I just find them interesting.
Do you think he's handsome?
Well, I see why other girls might. I don't really know.
No? Then what are you attracted to?
I think he broke away from the system.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he was fed up.
Now, I have a quote from you. The world is overpopulated, so the murders really weren't such a terrible thing. Mm-hmm. Can you kind of explain that?
Those old women were going to die soon anyways.
What?
They were going to die soon anyways.
People are going to die soon, so why not help them?
The women he killed were.
Okay.
That line went over real well in her little friend group, and now in front of all these people, it's real embarrassing. And guess what? It's even more embarrassing 30 years later!
And he didn't really want me to read all the articles about him because I think he didn't want me to find out about it, but I heard he broke into somebody's house and ripped out her eye and had with her eye.
What in the f***?
How old are you?
16.
16. You go to high school. You're at a high school where you study at home.
I study.
Right?
I read.
Eva, do we have problems in the home? What's going on in the home that is so bad that we want to escape to weirdo land? We're not in Delulu land. We're in weirdo land. And sometimes weirdo land is a choice. When you're trying to escape something so hard, you go into something even worse to take control of it. So, Miss Eva, we are in weirdo land. Weirdo!
Christine, you've taken this interest or obsession one step further, have you not?
Not obsession.
Okay. Not an obsession?
No.
Okay.
He's the one that's he calls me all the time. He always writes to me all the time.
All right.
Oh, she's here to one up Eva. No, Richard calls me all the time. Richard's always trying to write to me all the time. These chicks are crazy. This is too much.
He calls me all the time. He always writes to me all the time.
All right. You say you're going to marry Richard Ramirez?
We're supposed to. When I first met him, it was 4 years ago, and the first time I met him, his attorneys were there, and they told me that he was innocent, and they told me to keep visiting him, that it was good for him, and that's what they were telling me. So that's mainly why I went near someone like him, because I came from another state, and I didn't know even what happened. I didn't even know why he was there, and I didn't even find out until a year later.
That's not true.
What even happened. And that story that she just said, I've never heard anything like that, and I've read all the reports, but that's
what happened.
But
that's what he deserves to get something like that from you if he was writing back to you, so.
What do you mean?
But you
No, I'm telling the truth.
Ladies, I know the admiration has gone to the point of...
No, I wasn't there when he killed people.
And I'm
Neither were
surprised
you.
he even wrote back to you.
How do you feel about...
Well, he's still
Are you
writing
going to
me.
marry him?
Yeah, we're supposed to get married.
Are you in love with him?
I don't know.
They did not get married. Richard Ramirez married somebody else.
Why are you going to marry somebody you're not in love with?
Because she gets to go on talk shows.
Girl.
Well, we had to stop the tape as you...
No! It was the look on her face.
Because she gets to go on talk shows.
Dude, that was not a drill.
We had to stop the tape as you probably saw. A fight broke out in the studio between Christine and Eva. Now, at the beginning of the show, I hesitated to say that some women were even in love.
Over a serial killer. I do want to remind you guys, because, you know, she's still younger. She's still 16. I know some people are going to view that differently. Some people are going to be like, oh, Boze, she wasn't 12 or anything. She's 16. But, like, she's still a minor, you know. But I do want to remind you, that minor is not completely without fault, because moments ago, she said that the victims of Richard Ramirez were going to die anyways. And she liked Richard Ramirez because she heard a story where he pulled out an eyeball from an old lady and put his in her eye socket. The other Richard Ramirez fan said that that fact was up for debate and that may not have happened. But I want to remind you that the 16-year-old that got slapped, she said that she thought that was cool. I don't know. I don't feel comfortable like saying, oh no, she's such an innocent 16-year-old, because she's not. What a horrible thing to say. What a horrible thing to think. And who knows what else she's thinking, because she said that on live television. Like, if you're a minor and you're thinking like, oh my God, she hit someone that was younger, would you say what that girl just said? If you're here on this channel with us, probably not. So put yourself in a separate bucket than her and let them fight.
Well, when we come back, these women say their relatives were victims of these heinous criminals, and they're appalled that anyone could be obsessed by such vicious killers. We'll be right back.
I'm tempted to watch the rest of this.
Por favor, no!